a series that invites qualified and experienced speakers to talk about interesting topics that has brought about changes in society, especially in education and people's lifestyle. Now, Wind of Change will cover four main themes, which are women in education, technology and job opportunity, youth lifestyle diversity, and education during a pandemic. Now, our topic for today is challenges and opportunities for youth in the digital age. And our speaker for today is Mr. Lim Chhay. So, good afternoon, Mr. Lim Chhay. Can you please briefly introduce yourself to the audience today?
Thank you, and a very good morning to everyone. Greetings. So, especially also to the audience who watching us online on Facebook live stream. My name is Chhay. I'm a fresh graduate from a Royal University of Phnom Penh, Department of International Study, and my major was concentrating on international relations. And currently, I'm working at the Konrad-Adenauer Foundation. It's a German political think tank based in Cambodia as a program officer and in charge of the projects in the area of foreign policy, youth empowerment, digitalization, and etc. And at the same time, I'm also leading my own youth initiative called the Young Seekers. It's a first and only Southeast Asia based nonprofit organization working on ASEAN and China relations. So basically, working on helping young people to grow and also tap the full potential and opportunities in ASEAN community as well.
Well, it sounds like you're just a fresh graduate, but it sounds like you're doing a lot of activities that are related to youth. So, I'm hoping that this discussion will allow you to speak a lot about your experiences working with youth as well.
Yeah,
now, our topic, as I said, it's about challenges and opportunities for youth in the digital age. First of all, can you explain to the audience what do we mean by digital age?
Thank you, Wong, for the question, and also, thank you for having me today as well. So for the first question, and also exactly in our topic, the key term digital age. If we look at the general definition, or what we call, it's actually an objective definition that people define it more like a information age related to technologies and all of this. How we utilize the technology to access to wider information available online. I think it is clear enough when we define this as a information age, but then I think I would see it another aspect is that the age of opportunities. So people can access to information and people can utilize the digital platform to access to all available information that they find it useful for themselves. So this is kind of a good opportunity for us to explore more and also get the opportunity to socialize with other people. So I think this is we are right at a very important point where we need to grab the opportunity, need to unlock our potentials to explore more in this age. So I would keep it short, more like the information age and the age of opportunities for young people.
Yeah, it's true that we have more opportunity and we have more access to information. But the thing is that you're only able to access this big source of opportunity and information if you know how to use your digital appliances really well and you're literate in digital technology. Now, so the digital appliances that we use are like laptop and smartphone and tablet. Now, from your personal experience, which type of device do you use more often in your life and at work?
I think more on laptop because it's much more useful with a big screen and everyone's know that. And also for webinar or even for online learning, that's give us more convenient platform for that. Yeah.
Now, do you think that people who don't have access to like a laptop or a personal desktop have limited access to opportunities as well, or are there alternative methods that give the same amount of opportunity and information?
I think, like I mentioned earlier, we are right at this point when we're talking more about the digitalization and the use of technology for our daily life, for our study, for education and modern society and all of this. I would say it is quite challenging for them if they completely cannot access to basic equipment like you mentioned about laptop or even smartphone. That's remain as the challenges for them to access to more opportunity than before. That's linked to the question of firstly the access before we moving to talk about digital literacy. Even they know how to use it, but I think accessing to technological equipment like smartphone or other devices would not a big challenge or the big barriers for young people to access to that. You know, first, the price is not that high that they can access to basic equipment like laptop. Let's say exactly $300 maybe. Then we can access to the laptop. I think it will play an important role for our young people, especially if we are a student or even we are a employee at any institutions that still remain important. So it's quite limited to access to all of this when we mention about the opportunities, even job opportunity, social opportunities and other opportunities that are available online. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned about the price of these devices because yes, most of these devices, if you know exactly what you want from the device, you will not be tricked into getting something that is super expensive and you don't use often. Like for example, I noticed that a lot of students, they feel as though they need to get the most updated version of a smart device or digital appliance, and they're always looking for like for example a MacBook Pro or something. Yeah, I was one of those people also. When I was a student, I thought, oh, I need the best thing to help me study well. But that's not always the case because, like when I actually got one, I realized that I didn't use it to its fullest potential. All I did was use it to research for information and type out my assignments. But what about all the other things that it offers to us? So I feel like I wasted money on something that I could not use fully, So for students who want to get a digital device to help them with their studies, just they need to first understand what they are using it for and to what capacity. I feel like maybe someone who is studying graphic design or something would benefit more from something like a MacBook than a person who's just typing essays all day. Yeah, so it depends on your situation as well.
That's correct. May I add one point that
yeah, please go ahead.
The purpose of using this device for your own benefits and also linking with your digital literacy. We don't go further more like a scientist or explore everything completely everything in your laptops or computer, but actually just a basic literacy that you can actually, for example, utilize the well-known platform for exploring the study materials or the platform for free online courses that you can improve yourself with other necessary soft skill. I think that's also important, either MacBook, expensive MacBook, or even not so pricey laptop device. They all can access to, for example, Google Chrome or all of this that we can access. And also Zoom is also important, especially during the global pandemic. So understanding all of this that can link us to a right decision match with our financial situation. I know, especially during the COVID-19, people may face this kind of financial struggles and all of and also access to internet connection with their reduced incomes and all of these many challenges, common challenges that we all facing. So the right purpose and also the basic understanding on all of the use of technology and to explore the opportunity, it's also important for them at this point.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, since we've been talking a lot about access to opportunities, my next question to you is, what opportunities exactly do young people get during the digital age? And could you also focus your answers on educational opportunity and social opportunities as well?
I think it is very great that we raise up this point, the theme of education and social opportunity, two big opportunity for young people. Firstly, I would just give my own opinions on the young people is that I've been talking to many young people and also with leading the projects related to youth empowerment and youth development in this context is that I always expect to see that young people are those group of people who are really active and they are eager to learn because if they are not active and they are not eager or being very hungry to learn and to develop themselves, they should not be considered as young people, because people will keep an eye on the young people, especially the future of the society, the future of countries' development and all of this. Young people will play an important role. So if this kind of important part of the society are not active enough and not eager to improve themselves, this is not a good sign for us. So in order to understand this is that how they're eager enough to explore their own educational opportunity or even social opportunity, especially in this digital age, what we defined earlier as the information age or the age of opportunities. They need to be active. They need to know how to utilize the technology as a very useful platform to explore. When we're talking about educational opportunity, I think so much information on it's very much information. If you say that it's lack of information, I don't believe that. I also don't buy that argument. Many institutions, including CAM-ASEAN, also provide this kind of information, hosting many webinars, information sharing session about scholarship, about English class on other related field. They know how, what field they are in. They explore this opportunity. But because now we are disrupted by the global pandemic, but that's not the main barrier for young people to grow, for young people to develop themselves professionally. Educational opportunities still exist. That's why we're talking about digital age. We access to laptop, smartphone, we access to internet. Opportunity online. Now we need to adapt and live in a new normal. So we transform from a traditional education now to an online education. I myself also been exploring many educational opportunity. For example, we attend many webinars that is useful for my career, that is useful for my passion. What you're passionate about, you can explore all of this to learn. And I think most of that are free of charge. So as long as they have their own passion to learn more, like I mentioned earlier, they should be eager to learn more, explore, take the global pandemic time as an opportunity to develop themselves, and it's not gonna exist forever. It's gonna end soon, and after that we got something from a global pandemic. COVID-19 also provides some opportunity for young people when we stay home and we manage our mental health very well and explore opportunity, keep exploring opportunity. And social opportunity, I refer back before the COVID-19 and also when I was a university student. We joined a lot of social events, social volunteerism, and all of those community projects. But now just a bit with the new normal, we are unable to join physically. So I think that still the social opportunity, like I said earlier, it's the same point that we access to technology. We make friends online, we making network and all of this. My initiative I mentioned earlier about the ASEAN and China relations, we've been hosting so many webinars and also other meetings with young people across Southeast Asia. I think it's even more better that at this point it's even more better than physical meeting. Imagine that now, if there's no global pandemic, we fly to other country just for other social opportunity, but sometimes we need to spend our own cost. some opportunity are fully funded, but some we need to spend a bit for our own financial support and all of this. But then we access to Zoom and this webinar, we connect with people across Southeast Asia. We connect people with across even beyond Southeast Asia. That's also opportunity for making network online. So that will be also benefit to not only the students who are pursuing their undergraduate degree or the people who are now a young professionals in any institutions. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So you mentioned a lot about the educational opportunities and social opportunities. Now, for educational opportunities, it's true that we have more access to information to help with our studies, but at the same time, remember when we talked about digital literacy before, it's really difficult for students to know exactly where to go to get the information that they need. And sometimes they are so overwhelmed with the large amount of information that they don't really know how to filter through which one is best for them, which one is, you know, like factual information and which one is like inaccurate. You know, do you have any advice for students to help them navigate through the digital age? Like, because due to COVID, they are actually forced to become more reliant on digital devices than before. So what is your advice to them?
Yeah, I think this is a good question. You know, if I happen to ask young people who are saying that, okay, that will be overwhelming information, it's hard to define and all of this. Firstly, I would give them a question first. Do you play Facebook, either COVID or not? I believe that young people in Cambodia, Facebook is very common social media platform. Everyone now, young people, they all have Facebook account, and now they expand from Facebook to TikTok to Instagram and other social media platforms. So I would ask that what is the purpose of using social media? Some might respond that maybe an entertainment platform. I agree, but sometimes I also treat it as an entertainment platform, like our working hour and all of this. But they need to realize that this is also another useful platform, not only for entertainment, but also for the opportunities. Now we get back to again with the point opportunity. I know Facebook is overwhelming with the information, even the fake news. But young people need to differentiate this and need to be aware of this. How you keep your newsfeed overwhelming with information, and what types of information always appear on the newsfeed, Facebook newsfeed, and what page you're following. It's like online shopping page, or I would say a bit sensitive now. It's that a Cambodian Facebook platform might a bit overwhelming with all of these what we so-called TikTok influencer. So they need to ask themselves what they prefer. What is the purpose of using this social media platform? If you say you are using that to explore the opportunity, then I think that their new feed should not appear all of this TikTok influencer and talking about more not so important issues. If their purpose is more exploring educational opportunity, more on exploring social opportunity, then the newsfeed should be that one. Or keep unfollowing the unimportant issues that happen or appears in their newsfeed, and all of this. When I was a student, I think Facebook was also my main platform for socialization, especially connecting with the seniors. We cannot just go and meet them every day. Sometimes just a chit chat that asking more about the experience and advices. Besides my self-exploration online, but then sometimes we need advices from our senior and all relevant individual who are actually experienced in that field, want to know more about the experience. That's also important one. So make use of that as a social a networking platform, as an opportunity platform. I think people overwhelming with that is because they need to review a bit their profile and how many pages they follow, or even you find it not so useful, you can just unfollow that. So I think that's still not a big challenge for young people, but the challenge is about self-awareness, yeah, and the clear purpose of themselves. They need to define that for themselves, yeah.
Yeah, I understand, because I have students, I'm a teacher and I have students, and sometimes I ask them, what appears on your Facebook newsfeed. And of course, the students who are very interested in world news, they follow like BBC or they follow like New York Times and they get all the world news. But there are also other students who just want to use it for entertainment. And that's not wrong at all. Facebook originally served as just a socialization platform, and they share entertaining news to each other. So it's not wrong that you want to use it as an entertainment platform. The problem only comes when you want one thing, but you don't do something to get it. You know, like you said about the pages that you follow or stuff. So it's fine to follow pages that give you entertainment, but if you are looking for news, then there is an option to set the post from that page to appear first in your news feed. So you get both what you want and you get the entertainment as well. You know, so it really is a matter of learning how to customize content that is being fed to you. Yeah.
I could add one point here.
Yeah.
If we're talking only about Facebook, sometimes I understand it's a bit messed up on newsfeed. Facebook now is that even the page you don't follow, it also appears when the page owner boosting their page. And it's more now become a business community as well. But then, like you said, yeah, it is not wrong to treat it as an entertainment or our working hour and our study hours. Maybe they can switch to the platform like Twitter or LinkedIn. That's also a professional one. I think I would encourage more young people to use LinkedIn and Twitter to follow all of the people who are outstanding and well-known in their field. For example, I'm in IO field, so my Twitter or my LinkedIn more or the people who are working in this field. So they post more important information, even the article that I should read regarding the international politics or the opportunity for young people to involve in foreign policy field. This is exactly my field, so I have my own purpose to understand this opportunity, to explore this opportunity.
Okay, so I think I'm not sure if there's something wrong with me or with the speaker, but I cannot hear Mr. Lim Chhay anymore. I think there's an internet connection issue. So please wait a minute while I try to see what's going on. Okay. All right. So it seems that our it seems that our speaker is experiencing some connection issues. So let's just be patient and wait for him to reconnect with us. It should take only a few minutes while we contact him and let him know about this issue. Okay. So thank you everyone for being patient. Let's wait a few minutes. And while we are waiting, I just want to take this opportunity to let you know that if you have any questions for the speaker, you can wait at the end of the session. There will be a question and answer Q&A session for you. So I will give time for you to ask questions to him. And if you would rather not speak directly, if you want to just type your question, you can also type it in the comments on Facebook Live. So that is how you can ask us questions. But that happens at the end of the session. Hello, can you hear us? Wait, you're mute again.
I think after that, we may talk more about the challenges of working from home with the cut off and internet connection. Yeah.
Oh, you had a power cut just now?
Yeah. That's one of the challenges, but we mentioned a lot about opportunity.
Yeah, that's true. Just now you were adding more information to what I said about, you talking about Twitter and who you follow on Twitter, right? So you can please continue on what you were saying.
Yeah, I might recap again. So it's only about the clear purpose. Like I said earlier, my field is international relations, foreign policy. So, and all the people well known in this field was my followers. So I think that's also a good platform to know exactly what they are doing. And sometimes they're sharing a good video or articles to that I think I should read to explore more and to further advance my knowledge in this field as well. So. We keep learning in that way outside of classroom. So I think that's another important platform besides Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Twitter is a really good platform for you to get information quickly and for you to customize what you get on your feed because you can follow hashtags or follow topics and it just shows you that information. But I also want to point out to people who use social media that platforms like Twitter, you get information very quickly. But the quicker you get information, the higher risk it is that it is not correct information. You know, since it spreads so quickly, something that is wrong can become big news that people are confused about. You know, so it's always good to yes, use Twitter to get information, but make sure you double check the information that you're getting before you spread false information as well. Yeah, and so that is for educational opportunities, getting information. And then now we're talking about social opportunities as well. And you mentioned that we could use social media to help us find events for networking and for volunteering. However, now it's hard for us to move about. That's for sure. So volunteering is definitely not the top option anymore. But can you tell us about other ways that you can like do volunteer work or do social activities, but without, you know, leaving your house or without moving too much?
I think during the age of a global pandemic, people, affected not only about the health crisis itself, but also the question on how people manage their mental health during this very stressful moment that we cannot go out much as before. But I believe young people are more flexible than other age group. They are quite flexible. They are quite adaptive with the new normal. They can, most of them have the laptop or smartphone at home, but even sometimes they experience some bad internet connection, but that's still not a problem. It's just quite some time. So for the social opportunities, right? I think they are doing a lot of online class recently, and how people explore on all of this. I think, like I mentioned earlier, the social media, they pops up so many social opportunity for young people to join. I hope they treat it as a good opportunity to connect beyond Cambodia, make friends with others country in Southeast Asia and beyond. Many international webinar, many international events that they could join. But at this point, I would like to highlight one important point that I think it's a very big challenge for Cambodian youth. When I'm leading a lot of youth initiative, especially webinars, I would raise a practical example. The webinar is one of the open discussion platform that we gather young people across the region to discuss one particular issues. But we hope the main purpose is that we hope to hear the voice of young people, but then they are more shy. They are not so active in talking. I think that is the challenge for themselves in terms of how to unlock your own potential. Like I mentioned earlier, I keep saying that people need to be eager in learning, need to be active. They can be a good listener, but sometimes they need to be a good speaker as well when talking about the young people concerns toward a particular social issues. A very simple example in my webinar hosted last week is that first, no one turned off the video. Second, even we mentioned their name directly. They don't really want to speak. They are not willing to unmute themselves and speak up their voice. So it's more like Okay, I'm stuck there. I don't have any opinions on that. So I think during this time, it's also important for our young people to showcase their commitment, their engagement, and they're eager to learn more about this issue. So keep being active to explore more opportunity than being more brave. That should be how I mean that should how young people looks like in this, especially when we mention about the digital age, technology, fast changing technological context. Then people need to be even faster, in adapting with their new normal, even more flexible in their working environment or study environment, especially in this very competitive environment. If we don't do so, I think more likely we will be left behind.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you point out that, because you said that youths are one of the more flexible generations compared to others, and that's true because last week I actually talked about this topic with another speaker, and he mentioned that there are three types of people: one who want to live in the past, one who want to maintain what they are used to, maintain the norms, and one who are more accepting to change. And it's usually the younger people who are accepting to change, but the younger people also make up the group that want to maintain what they are used to. So we've got a group of people who are very positive towards change, but at the same time, and they're adaptable, so they have a good chance of adapting to the changes as well. But something keeps them stuck in their own ways, and I think it's exactly what you mentioned, is the lack of confidence. And I think it's also rooted in our culture, where like the young people need to be respectful of elders and let them talk, and they should not really have their own opinions on anything till they become older. And this is the new normal. Like we say many times, we need to get used to this new way of thinking and living and working. So young people should push out of their shell, and then try to make something out of this situation that we are forced into. Yeah.
At this point, yeah, I hope the group of not so active young people, I think, like you mentioned, is very good point. Sometimes the social norm in our society, people are more shy. Some people might think that being shy is a way of being polite, but sometimes it's not true. Speak up your voice. It doesn't mean that you are not polite. It depends on your communication skill and the use of language and with elder people. But then I realized that I'm not only working with young people, but also elder generation. They are quite more open to young people as well. They are not that close-minded. So I hope they also give the opportunity for young people to speak up their concerns, and sometimes they can also, we need to believe that they can also suggest us with a more creative and innovative solution toward a specific problems. And for young people, I hope they take it, like you mentioned earlier about the what we call living in the past and all of this. I hope they take their past as a good memory for making a better future decision. So taking your past to make a better future direction, that you need to do a self-reflection, what we have done in the past and what mistake that we need to avoid in the future. So that's don't make just your past to negatively affect your future direction. That's also important point. And that, for example, like me, I used to be not so confident, not so brave enough to speak in front of the public. But then slowly, there's more time and long way to go. And on that journey, you need to slowly learn and slowly adapt. Sometimes we need to be a bit patient and encourage yourself to be more positive, so that we can learn along the way from other people surrounding us. Yeah.
Thank you for your extended your input on that. We always need a lot of voices from the youth, and I think you are considered as a youth also, right? We are still in the air. We are still considered as youth, so we're not yet that old, so we can talk about this subject. Now, so just now we were talking about the challenges that youth face, and one of the main challenges, like they had this issue back when we had physical interaction before the pandemic, but now after the pandemic, even when they are in the comfort of their own space, but they still feel shy to speak up. Now, can you mention other challenges that youth may face in this digital age and what they can do to cope with these challenges?
Again, I want to introduce them with the concept of what we actually, especially you are a teacher, you are aware of that, how we teach students inside the classroom and how students have themselves outside the classroom. That's why we come to discuss with the lifelong learning concepts that we need to embrace the culture of lifelong learning for our students in this modern society, especially digital age. The source that I found is that they define it's more like a learning, lifelong learning is more like what we call a form of self-initiated education that is different from traditional education way. But again, it's not go conflict with the traditional education, but it's just another additional point that students should adopt. Self-initiated mean that they focus on their own personal development while they also what we call be more active outside of the formal education or outside the classroom, to put it simply. You know, people need to have this kind of awareness. I think everything firstly start from self-awareness. Now, for example, now we are sharing all of this. We hope that we be a part of awareness raising campaign for young people. To stimulate their thinking, to provoke their thoughts that, okay, they need to start from now to create more self-awareness for themselves, especially in terms of professional development. And more and more challenges need to come, so they need to cope. And how they cope with that, they need to be resilient. And how they need to be resilient, they need to possess necessary skill in this context. Digital literacy, we mentioned earlier, it's also one of the skills in the 21st century. Another skill that they need sometimes, that's why we mentioned a lot about the social opportunity. Tap this to explore more skills, to develop more soft skills that they could not learn in the formal education place. That's also important. So they start from self-awareness, like I said. Now we are stimulating the thinking of young people that, okay, this is important to do that, this is important to do this. So starting from today, if they will have this kind of thinking that, okay, now I have my self-awareness, I need to change a bit what I've done in the past that they think it's not a good point. That's also a part of self-reflection. And after that, they're going through more and more challenges. Firstly, they need to spend more time to develop their skill. The purpose of developing skill is not only beneficial for their own professional career or their own study for those who are still studying in the university, but at the same time, it makes them more resilient. I raised an example before the COVID-19. No one could think of in the next 1 or 2 years, there will be something called COVID-19 or something called global pandemic. We cannot expect that those kind of unpredictable challenges will come more after the global pandemic. Don't think that when the end of COVID-19, there's no more challenges. There will be even more challenges than the COVID-19. So what we prepare our best for the future, like I mentioned, take your past as a good memory to make a better future direction or better future decision. For the people that's less affected by COVID-19, as I believe, they actually prepare themselves very well before the COVID-19. Even they didn't know that there will be a something called COVID-19. Their skills, they already possess skill. Let's say go back to 2019 or 2018, they already possess some important skills such as networking skill, digital literacy, a leadership skill and their project management, even though and all, even so, I mean the project management skill, and some already leading the initiative or leading the projects online. And all of this, the people were doing a good job before the COVID-19. But when the COVID-19 comes, they are resilient. They're affected, but they're less affected comparing to other people who are who don't really possess any skill at all, comparing to another group of young people. They keep thinking negatively, okay, and COVID-19 has affected us. They don't do anything. But people who are resilient, they are doing so many things during the global pandemic that is useful for society, that is useful for young people, and useful for their professional growth. So they need to change this a bit mindset of thinking in the negative and thinking outside of the box, you know, go beyond that and explore more. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, you know, what you mentioned here about the mindset of youth. Remember I told you that we are going to have a question and answer session at the end. We actually got a question on Facebook Live, but I don't think I will save it for the end. I think I'm going to ask it now because it's really related to what you mentioned about youth and their mindset. So this question is from a person named Rich Villarreal. I'm sorry if I pronounced their name wrong. Their question is, Mr. Chhay mentioned something about discounting or disregarding youths who are not hungry for learning or eager to learn. As an educator, isn't it our role or our task to make these youths hungry or eager to learn using all these technological advancement and access? My question is, how do you think we can bridge the big gap in using technologies to provide solutions to the actual challenge of getting these youths to really get engaged and learn online? So it's a long question, so let me just summarize it for you. Their question is that it's our role as an educator to get them motivated and enthusiastic to learn. So how do you think we can use the available technologies to get students who are usually very shy? How can we get them more active, and how do we put them in a mindset to be more eager to learn using the technology that we have right now? Okay, so yeah.
Thank you for the question to our audience. I think this is a good one, a thought-provoking questions that we need to think, especially in the modern society. We're talking more about quality education in the 21st century. First of all, I'm not an educator at the moment, so I cannot do my job inside the classroom, but I think I can somehow participate outside the classroom to help young people. So I am not considering myself as an educator, but reflecting that back to the past when I was a student, I think my teachers did a good job in teaching in the classroom, but sometimes the classroom space is limited. It doesn't mean that they were not doing a good job. It means they did their job in providing in taking part in education, or what we call formal education or traditional education in the classroom. So why we mention a lot about social opportunity that are not available in the school? That's why I said people firstly, well, I would say 2 points. First, self-awareness. But before self-awareness, what awareness we need? I also actually urge people who are already experienced and already thinks that they are have much more experience in youth empowerment project or other project that could have young people to stimulate the thinking of education, the thinking of the social opportunity, educational opportunity, and professional development, and all of this, to taking part in awareness campaign raising, campaign. And what we are doing right now is that, for example, this is a good example that we are talking now in this event, open discussion to provoke young people to think more of the opportunity in this digital age. This is the first step that we can do. Like I said, I'm not educator in the classroom, but I can somehow contribute a bit or engage myself a bit in social events or other social opportunity for young people. For example, the initiative I'm doing right now just to connect young people together to discuss more in the particular field. So if they think that they fit in this field, they can join our campaign. So there are many different field of campaign that they are doing. So I think this is one point that we can start from. And all of this campaign can be done through many ways: webinar, discussion, or mentorship program that's available online and free of charge. The question is why we are doing this. We don't get any, we don't get paid on that. That's all voluntary jobs. So that's give us a spirit, that a voluntary spirit is that just to try to help people. We don't get paid of doing the jobs online and doing a lot of spending a lot of time to get the works done just to help the young people. This is the first step. Second step, they need to have their own self-awareness. After they join, what's next? I see many people join a lot of events, but I need to ask the question, what's next after joining so many events and spending a lot of time to join either mentorship program, information sharing, or conferences or other exchange program? Then what next? What's next after that? What we learn from that? Self-reflection is important. Self-reflection to give you a self-awareness, what you are going to do next, how you apply the skills or the things that you learn from the event that you are joining. At this point, I might link to another one that people need to understand the importance of this point as well. I mentioned actually earlier about lifelong learning awareness. People, either educator or not, even they are not educator, but they are taking part in youth engagement project. They also taking part in embracing the culture of lifelong learning. Is that every citizens here, they have a thinking that, okay, in the 21st century, there are more skills to explore outside the classroom. They need to be aware that they are self-motivated in exploring the skill that they need, the skill that their working place need, and the skill that beneficial for themselves and for society as a whole. I think at this, actually it's a next question, but I think I should mention that earlier about the skill in the 21st century. We've been talking a lot about that 21st century skill. Actually, a World Economic Forum, they conducted a study, and then they found out that there are so many skills that young people need to work on. But I just mentioned a few important ones that I involved in youth initiative. We talk about digital age. Of course, digital literacy is also important for young people. This is considered as one skill. Taking a very simple example, they are pursuing their education, undergraduate degree, but because of the financial support, from the lack of financial support, they might take part in what we call a part-time job to support them. I know some people from provinces, including me, at the very first stage, we moving to capital city to pursue our education. Sometimes we face challenges in terms of financial support. We try to find part-time job. I realized that even the challenge we face, not offensive to anyone, but I would like to raise this practical example. I'm not sure you experience or not with the delivery sector. They are not old, they are young, but they don't know how to use Google Maps. At this point, I don't know how to help. Maybe the responsibility of the company itself to train their staff, or the staff itself need to learn, but where to learn and where to start if they have zero knowledge on that at the very first place. But I think young people, it's actually fast adaptive than older generation when it comes to utilizing a smart device and all of this smartphone, access to Google Map, just to find the customer location and all of this basic skill that they need. They're working as a delivery man. The basic skill they need to know how to go with the Google Maps and all, a very basic digital literacy skill. This is another example, you see, but how about other delivery men that they can use that? They give better service, faster service, and they don't need to ask much more question when the customer already pinned the location. After that, maybe a university student, from my side, I think language skill is also important. Even now we are talking in English. So how about people who are not, I mean, they cannot access to English education? That's a very big issues, especially in the remote area. I will talk about that later, but just to mention that language skill is also considered as an important skill, especially English as an international language. People can speak English, but sometimes they realize that their English is not good enough. Even myself, I'm still on the way of learning. Keep learning. This is a concept of lifelong learning. Every day you learn. I think, for example, entertainment platform, for example, like Netflix. It's not only about entertainment, but then it's also can improve your English. I believe many of my friends, they also told me sometimes even the game or the Netflix movie series and all of this also a part of their English learning tools. Communication skill, leadership, innovation, creativity, I think is very fit for young people in the 21st century, especially when we need to embrace with the technological context. I just to mention a few skills here. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. You mentioned a lot of things, and you also said that since you're not an educator, you try to help the youth in other ways as well. Now, this question is asking, as an educator, it is our job to do this and to encourage students. Well, since I'm an educator, I'd just like to, give my own answer to this. With the existing technology right now, I think what I always do is try students are comfortable with learning. I know that it's very difficult for some educators because we feel like we try so hard to get them involved and they don't really want to be active in any way, and we don't want to feel like we are forcing them to be active in the class. So one thing that I like to do is, I talk to them after class. Like I message them. I don't call them or anything because I feel like it would make them nervous if they talk to me face to face. But when you send them a message, and when they reply, they have time to think about what they want to write and what they want to say. So it makes them less nervous and more comfortable with you. And then the case of getting them to talk in class, well, it's difficult. I've experienced it. It's very, very difficult to get someone who is usually quiet to talk in class. So instead, like I try to use what is available. For example, right now I'm using Microsoft Teams to teach my students, and they have this feature called breakout room where I can take the students out of class and put them in a room where it's just them and their classmates talking, and I can't hear them so they don't feel like I'm watching their every move, Or I can just take them out of the class and enter the room myself, so it's just me and them, and they feel more comfortable if their classmates cannot hear them. So my answer to the question on Facebook Live is I just try my best to make sure that they are comfortable with me and the class first before I go further and try to make them active while everyone is watching them, because that is the main thing that people are scared of. Now, we've been talking so much, and I didn't actually get to finish asking you my questions. I actually have 3 more questions to ask, but I don't think I have time for that. But it's okay, because when you were answering earlier, you answered some of the questions as well. So I want to, give this extra time to people who are with us here on Microsoft Teams, as well as anyone on Facebook Live. If you have a question that you want to ask Mr. Chhay, can you please unmute your microphone and just ask right away, or you can also raise your hand and I will call you to ask. Okay, so yeah, the question and answer session is open right now. And Mr. Chhay, you can take a break and drink some water or something. Okay, so I have a student of mine who sent a question to me directly because they're shy. Um, they are asking if we struggle too much with using the technology available for us now, and if we struggle too much in a digital age, does it mean that there's no hope for us in becoming a good student right now in the current pandemic situation?
First of all, I would like to ask first, they asked the question in English?
Yes, they're asking in English, yeah.
That means they're already a good student. First, they know how to ask question. And second, they know how to ask question in the second language, not the native language. So I think this is a hope for young people, you know, in the technological age. I don't expect every young people to go further with a very professional skill in using technology, because some people, even me, I'm not in the science field. If you ask me about how to create this kind of artificial intelligence platform, no, I don't know all of this. But we are talking only about digital literacy. A very basic digital literacy is how to use Google, how to use YouTube, how to use Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and all of this. I believe it is not a big challenge for young people when they can first basic English skill and already good enough to pass the question in Google and all of this. Opportunity, exploring opportunity, scholarship, exchange program available online, just to type the keywords. They know how to type the keyword, which country you want to go, which internship you want to have either in Phnom Penh or in other country, or even online internship. Now they have some available online internships and all of this. So don't treat, I mean, find what we call digital skill or struggle in digital adaptation to take it as a barrier for you pursuing education. I think this is not a big deal. I remember, you know, if you compare to elder generation, I think, and all of us here sometime, my question is that, have you been asked by your parents to teach them how to create Facebook account? That's a struggle for them. They were not born in this smart device era, the age of technology. Our country, you know, my parents also were born in the genocide and civil wars and all of this. But this is the new context. Young people born in the age of technology. Sometimes we don't even ask our friend how to create Facebook. You can also just log with the facebook.com, and then you can see how to fill the name, fill your password, fill your email. But if you compare, it's different from our parents. If you say pa or ma, you can just go to facebook.com, but they don't know how to go there, facebook.com. But it's very different for young people, you know. Like I said, this is not a big deal for young people anymore to fast adapt with the technological change. Again, what I mean here is not I don't want every young citizens to go very far away with creating the robot and all of this, because you are not in science field. Yeah, if you are in science field and your major is that, that's a good, but for just a basic digital literacy to extract the benefits of online platform, many benefits out there, I think that's don't lose hope. That's a good opportunity for young people to access. Like we mentioned in the very first place about smart device. Firstly, you have smartphone. Second, you have laptop. But it's a different thing if you say, okay, I don't have laptop. I think can take a part-time job to earn, because to be honest, my laptop is also come from my additional income as a part-time job, from part-time job as well. We all facing this financial struggle. Not everyone is rich here. You know, I also come from province. This is a struggle at the very first place to access to a very good English school, but there's scholarship if you are capable enough. And also there are so many part-time jobs you can spend a bit time to support your own financial situation when moving to the capital cities. So that's all young people can do. I think it's not a big challenge, just be more self-motivated. I can also motivate you as well from your teachers and your parents, your friends. Can be a motivator and keep moving forward for that, just for your professional growth and your personal development. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for your words of encouragement. And yeah, I agree with you too, that student. I know that it might seem daunting, or it might seem like hopeless if you feel like you cannot catch up with everyone in the digital age. But that you forget is that there is always someone who is willing to help. In school, it's your teachers and classmates who are willing to help you. And when you go into work, there's always someone who is there to train you, or you can always rely on your colleague. And that is just the nature of human beings. Like, we are, built to live together and help each other grow and develop. So do not feel like there's no hope, and don't feel like you are the only one suffering or not being able to catch up. There's always a way to catch up. And, like, people may put pressure on you, but at the end of the day, it's just up to you to take the initiative and ask someone to help you out. Yeah, and it's not like everyone's your enemy. There's always support from others.
Okay. At this point, I think of another point to that question.
Oh, okay, yeah, please go on.
Now, don't be shy to ask question. Asking question is, asking question does not make you stupid. Actually, it makes you smarter. The philosophy from Kongzhi, people who ask more, they will become smarter. Kongzhi once said that, the philosophy of Confucianism. Asking more question. I also used to ask that people think it's a stupid question, but the very first time that we start using the online platform for online class like Zoom, I know you feel embarrassed to ask teacher how to unmute yourself, how to click the mic load, that sign, and also how to turn off video and all of this. People might think it's a stupid question, but I don't know. So I just ask. Sometimes, yeah, it's good to ask question, but don't be shy. I just want to add this point. Yeah.
Yeah. Because then how are you gonna know the answer if you don't ask the question? So just ask. It's fine. And it's not like you're the only one who has this question. There's probably 2 or 3 students who also don't know how to unmute. So you're helping them as well by asking the question. Okay. So yeah, I think we've come to the end of this session today. Thank you so much for being here with us and sharing your experience and talking and just giving words of advice to our youths and to the audience here today. And also thank you everyone for joining our session this week. Thank you for listening, and just by being here, you're showing your support for youths, and you're learning some new skills yourself during this pandemic. So yeah, thank you so much to our speaker for being here and spending his time with us. And yeah, that's all. Goodbye, and we'll see you all next time for our next session.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Bong.
Yes, goodbye.